feel today? Ask yourself this question.
What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! We ready! We ready! We ready! We ready! And let's go! And let's go!
When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like.
Football is getting hit. That's it.
It's gonna be football now! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's hunt now! Let's hunt now! Let's go! Let's hunt! We ready! And let's go! And let's go!
We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this holler, we the Miami Heat of football. Yap. The bottom line is you got to buckle up your chin straps.
It's embarrassing.
Yap.
Don't disrespect the game like that. It's too much crying from them.
He's a man. They can be hit just like us. He's a man.
You already make the big money.
He's a man.
Don't cry when you step on the field, man. That's war out there.
When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like.
Oh, my bad. Your bad don't work in my world.
What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! We ready! And let's go! And let's go! It's a wrap. Game over.
Nah, this game ain't over. It's just getting started right here on the lunch break. Powered by Jones Media and Entertainment, or as I like to call it, JM&E. And we are on ROKU, courtesy of BS3 TV. Yep, BS3 TV got us on ROKU. All you got to do, if you got a ROKU streaming device, download it, and you will find some great programming. Great programming. Again, look for BS3 TV on your Roku streaming device. Download it. You got some great stuff like that fire that went out last night from Queen 3 and King. Man, I'm telling you, they just set that bad boy on fire. And then you got to check out Snowman in the Morning. You got a whole lot of other great shows. In fact, at the bottom of the hour, I'm going to give you a little clip of what's happening at BS3. So be sure and stay tuned for that. All right, it's Winning Wednesday. And you know, I love to talk about winning, and I love to help people win. Again, continue to extend your prayers to Ryan Peoples. That's the young man that won the $500 courtesy of the lunch break in our bracket challenge for March Madness. And right after he won, unfortunately, his father passed away. So we've not been able to link up. We have exchanged messages. We've talked, and we're going to have him on after he settles everything with his father. Again, nothing more important than taking care of family. And our sincere thoughts and prayers go out to that young man. But please, please, please keep him into your prayers. We do have some other contests that are going to be coming up for those of you all who are just really kind of jumping on board with the lunch break. Every year, we do what's called the Lunch Break Weekly, Keeping Up with the Joneses Pick'em Challenge. And it is takes place during the NFL football season. Every week, you'll have a chance to win $50 cash. Every week, you'll have a chance to win $50 cash. And then if you're in the top 6 at the end of the season, you're one of the top 6 contestants at the end of the season, you have a chance to win $500 cash. That's right. And I mean it, man. It's a lot of good stuff. And we want to make sure that somebody gets a chance to win again this season. So I want to thank all of our sponsors out there. I want to thank the Sports and Wellness Doc, Dr. Alexia McClurkin-Johnson. She does a phenomenal job with rehabilitation. If you've been in an accident, you had a slip and fall, or maybe it's a sports-related accident or injury that you're trying to recover from, she's the person to see. Just go to her website, sportsandwellnessdoc.com, and be sure to let them know AJ and the Lunch Break sent you. They're going to take good care of you. Hey, listen, that's where I go to get tuned up and to get aligned and realigned, and they take phenomenal care of me and mine. So you be sure and tune in too. Also, if again, I can't tell you enough about making sure that your mental health is right. And I got some phenomenal people that will help you do that. They are literally some of the best in the business. They're called the Hartwell Clinic, and they're right here in Houston, but they do telehealth all over. So all you got to do is go online, thehartwellclinic.com, TheHartwell clinic.com. Y'all thought I was going to spell clinic? Yeah. So anyway, be sure to, again, let them know that AJ Jones sent you from the lunch break, and they have got you covered. And then, of course, my insurance agency is always available for anyone that needs good health insurance. I was thinking about it today, as before I came on the show, I was calling, talking to families, and trying to take care of and protect families. Man, life insurance is one of the best things that you can do for your loved ones. I mean, we're just not going to be here always. You never know what's going to happen. I mean, you never know when an accident is going to happen. And I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to inform you. You want to make sure that you have something in place to make sure that the people that you love the most can live on should something happen to you. Don't make them have to do GoFundMes. Don't make them have to do sales and have to sell property and precious items and memorabilia. Make sure that you've done what you need to do to get them covered. And here's how you do that. You call me, 832-403-5005. That's 832-403-5005. I can give you a quote over the phone, and I'm serious. There's no obligation. At least you know where you stand and what it's going to take. Many people don't realize that you can get a lot of coverage for far less than you imagine. So again, I'd be remiss if I didn't have that straight conversation with you about insurance. I got it all. I got term life. I've got whole life. I've got final expense. You've got mortgage protection. I know some of y'all out there in this housing market trying to buy homes. Why not get a policy in place to make sure that that mortgage is covered should something happen to you? So again, we want to make sure that we take care of you. So those are my three primary sponsors. We've got others. If you look at my deal, we've got others. So if you're in Houston and you like good African attire, be sure and go by African Imports in the Greens Point Mall. Let Opie know that AJ sent you, and he'll hook you up with all kinds of great African attire. They've got African art, they've got books, they've got music, you name it, they've got it. And if you like the HBCU stuff that I wear, they have it all. Not just from the state of Texas and surrounding areas, they've got it all nationwide. So be sure to tell Opie and the good folks from African Imports that I sent you. Trey Pike, he says, good eve, AJ. Sorry I missed you live yesterday, but went back and listened to catch up. Better keep the name The Lunch Break, and I'm saying that with my chest. Hey, Trey Pike, man, I always appreciate your support. Captain Trey Pike, always appreciate your support. All right, y'all, so let's talk about some winning. Tonight is the night, man. Tonight is the night. Boston Celtics and the Brooklyn Nets. And let me just get to this real fast before we get off into it. Kyrie Irving got fined 50 racks. 50 racks for saying you're number one behind his head to the fans, and then for letting them know that they were number one running up the court as he made a shot. The reality is, man, that's a hostile environment, and I get it. You know, I've heard Stephen A. Smith, and I've heard Shaq, and I've heard, Charles Barkley and Kenny Smith. I heard Mad Dog Russo this morning. Listen, just because Kyrie Irving didn't go through what Bill Russell went through, what Kareem Abdul-Jabbar went through, what Wilt the Stilt Chamberlain went through, and other players like that, just because he didn't go through what they went through in their era does not mean that he can't take exception to some of the things that he's hearing and he's being told. You know, we didn't have social media back then, so we don't know if Wilt or Bill Russell or Kareem or somebody else, in some way reacted to some of the things that were being said to them. Jackie Robinson and some of the pioneers. But the reality is those guys went through that stuff as trailblazers and paved the way for some of us not to have to go through that stuff. And, the things that, reportedly are being said to Kyrie in Boston. And I got to tell you, Boston fans, let me tell you, some of y'all are some of the best fans in the world. But there's some in those arenas and in those baseball stadiums and in those football stadiums and soccer and hockey that just are out of bounds, man, just out of line, man. Y'all out of pocket like crazy. And just like people say with the bad cops, the good cops ought to be reporting the bad cops. The good fans ought to be pointing out the bad fans. It's not okay to sit next to somebody calling somebody a racial epithet or, just cursing like crazy. And what about the kids then? It's always, what about the kids when somebody like Kyrie Irving shoots the bird behind his hands or shoots the bird when he's running up the court? But nobody ever worries about the kids when the fan sitting next to the kids is calling somebody out their name, calling somebody out about their race and all that kind of stuff. It has very little to do with Bill Russell. It has very little to do with Kareem and Shaq and all those other guys. Guess what? Just because I didn't go through something or I didn't respond the way other people went through something doesn't mean that my way is the only way or my way is the right way. It's, I'm kind of with Kyrie on this one. I'm kind of with Kyrie on it. Everybody expects the players to have all the control in the world. Everybody expects the play. Oh, but they're getting paid so much money. Let me tell you something. We have some of the worst crooks in the world that are billionaires. Some of the worst people in the world are billionaires. Bernie Madoff hurt a whole lot of people, and the man was a billionaire. Yeah, but it was just money. It didn't really bother. It's just, remember y'all, it's just a game. Remember that part? It's always a game when you want to minimize somebody else's action, but it's business when you want to argue about somebody else's contract and how much money they make. So all I'm saying is, was it right? Do I condone it? No. But am I flipped out about it like Stephen A. Smith and like Shaquille O'Neal and Charles Barkley and Kenny Smith? No, I'm not. I'm not. Mad Dog Russo, a legend in this business. I don't agree with him. I don't agree with him. And in fact, I'm really getting tired of people like me on bigger platforms with a bunch of check marks and a bunch of followers telling grown athletes to shut up and play. I'm sick of that. Your voice is not the biggest voice in the room. Your voice is not the most important voice in this business. If Kyrie has something to say about how he's being treated and does it in a different way than we do on these various different platforms, so what? That's the beauty of the country that we supposedly live in. So, yeah, I'm disappointed that the NBA fined him that much. I knew that they would fine him. I'm disappointed that they fined him that much. But I wholeheartedly disagree with and let me correct myself. Stephen A. Smith said he doesn't disagree with what Kyrie did. So let me take him out of this conversation. I'll bring him back in another conversation in just a few minutes. But yeah, I got to correct myself and say, my bad for calling him out on this one. But Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny Smith, Mad Dog Russo, and others miss me. Just absolutely miss me. Treat me like a curveball with movement. Miss me. I always want to call out the one guy that handled it better than everybody else. And oh yeah, well what about Bill Russell? Why not handle it like him? This ain't Bill Russell. One of my favorite posts or posters during the whole movement surrounding George Floyd was, hey, yo, I'm not my grandparents' generation. You got to realize some of these young people deal with things much differently than our ancestors did. So you play stupid games, you get stupid prizes. You want to bring the noise, you want to bring the heat, we'll take this with you, in the words of Dirk Nowitzki. Big Mike says, Shaq and Chuck know good and well they would have done the same thing. Charles Barkley threw a grown man through a pane glass window. So where was all that? Where was all that kumbaya and Jesus is love? And, please, again, treat me like a nasty, stinky curveball that you weren't looking for and miss me. CJ says, I agree with you completely. Man, folks always want to pull Martin Luther King. They want to pull Bill. And much respect to them. I'll go change this shirt and put on an MLK shirt in a heartbeat. But I don't have to act like them. I'm not them. You coming at me? Kyrie said, I'm going to give you the same energy back. This is the playoffs. This is the playoffs. So, yeah, man, I'm sorry. All right, let me take a quick station ID. I'll be right back with you right after this, right here on the lunch break.
You are now tuned to BS3 Network. BS3 Network is now on ROKU TV under BS3 TV. Download today.
Yeah, man, seriously, if you have not downloaded BS3 TV and you got a Roku streaming device or a Roku TV, what's wrong with you? What's the matter with you? Bill Russell would have downloaded it by now. Martin Luther King would have downloaded it by now. Michael Jordan would have downloaded it by now. Why haven't you? You see how that works? You see how that works. So anyway, tonight is the night, man. I'm still trying to figure out this whole Bible study situation. Listen, how they gonna start this game tonight at 6:00 and I got Bible study at 7? I don't even understand how we didn't get on a national call and, okay, y'all gonna play at what time? Okay, we're gonna move Bible study to 3:30 p.m. Y'all, Bible study's at 3:30 because we got to be ready for this game tonight. Big Mike say we both got Bible study tonight. Bruh. I don't know, man. I feel like there's a word in the game. I feel like I should be able to stream the game at our virtual Bible study and find a word in that. Now, see, if Kyrie had really been, in his word, then he probably would realize that you got to turn the other cheek. I just need to stream the game and find a bunch of word in the game for about an hour, 30 minutes. Can we do a 22-minute Bible study tonight, please? Hello? It might be at halftime by the time we start. Ben Sutter III, what's going on, bro? Got to give you love, man. You see what I'm rocking today. I was feeling it. All right, so anyway, Brooklyn and Boston. A lot of Brooklyn fans are in yeah, but mode. Yeah, but this. Yeah, but that. Like, oh, but it took a last-second shot at the buzzer for Boston to beat us. Yeah, but. I see a win column. I see a loss column. I don't even see a tie column. So they ain't no doggone yeah, but column. Brooklyn fans, be about your team. It's Winning Wednesday. Yesterday was Talk Your Team Tuesday. Be about your team, but don't be ridiculous now. Don't be like Dallas Cowboy fans. Don't be like New England Patriot fans. And whatever you do, don't become like Golden State Warrior fans where it's yeah, but. You lost. You lost that game. You're down 0-1. You got to win 4 out of these next 6. In order to keep playing. And I don't get the final say, but I'm sorry. It is not a success of a season if Brooklyn gets beaten in the first round. I don't want to hear about injuries. I don't want to hear about COVID. I don't want to hear about vaccines. I don't want to hear about any of that stuff. You're Brooklyn. You're the Brooklyn Nets. You are in the Big Apple. You are in the Mecca. Yeah. Ain't no excuses. You ain't no yeah buts. Get it together or leave it alone. You don't want my loving? I'll be gone to the next round. Boston came and did what they had to do in spite of the ominence of Kevin Durant and the ominence of Kyrie Irving and the rest of the role players. Tonight, the question will be, will Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant go off as a bunch of people think that they will, that they're going to go off and it's just going to be, they're going to blow Boston out is basically what, Brooklyn fans are thinking is going to happen. I don't know if I see that. And even if I do, that's one. You still got to win then 3 out of 5. So that's what it boils down to now on the playoffs. All of that, yeah, but, and yap, Ray Lewis, oh, my bad. Your bad don't work in my world. You got to win 4 out of 6 now. You got to win 4 out of 6. All Boston has to do is win 3 out of 6. It's that simple. It's that simple. CJ said, call one of your powerhouses from Revival. CJ, I'll call you. What you talking about? Call one of my powerhouses from Revival. CJ, do Bible study tonight. You got it? All right, cool. I'm gonna send you a link. I'm gonna send you a link. You know what? I need to sing that song. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on. Yeah, I need that today because I woke up with my mind on Boston and Brooklyn. That's what I was talking. I was talking about it yesterday like it was going to be last night, and it wasn't. Speaking of last night, oh, man, I feel bad for Devin Booker. I feel bad for D-Book. I mean, man, you talk about snake bitten when it comes to injuries and nagging injuries. I mean, the dude had 31 points in 25 minutes and was giving New Orleans the business. New Orleans had no answer for Devin Booker last night. And as fate would have it, injury struck again. Not on the hamstring that he had previously injured and recovered, but the other hamstring. And just in checking in on it this morning, I mean, they're running tests. It's not torn. It's not severely strained. But when you have a game like Devin Booker, you need your hamstring. You need that thing to be solid so that you can have that explosiveness on how you play your game. And that's Devin Booker's game. So New Orleans was able to, just catch on fire. Brandon Ingram could not miss last night. And Jones was cleaning up everything that did not fall in. And, I got to tell you, man, New Orleans was surprisingly good last night in getting their first playoff win in a long time. So, again, now Phoenix and New Orleans are tied at 1 each after New Orleans pulled off the victory, 125-114. It looked like Phoenix was going to get back in it. They took a brief lead and New Orleans just balled out after that, playing good defense, getting stops on the defensive end and knocking down everything in sight on the offensive end. So again, got to give credit to New Orleans and their head coach for Willie Green for, keeping them together and getting them a much needed victory. So again, that series is tied 1 each as they now shift to New Orleans. They'll be in the Smoothie King arena. All right. And then last night, Memphis let everybody know what it was. Where was Patrick Beverly and all that vibrato last night? Where was his beer last night? Where was his selfie and all that stuff last night? I told y'all, Pat, keep the same energy when and if you don't win 4 out of 7. Last night was a humbling with a full H experience for Minnesota last night. 124-96 at the hands of Memphis. And let me real quick go to that box score from last night because that thing, here we go. Bam. Bam. All right, so Anthony Edwards, still a baller. Please don't get it twisted. Still a baller, still a legit, soon-to-be, potential to be superstar in this league. Right now, there's 2. 3. Right now, there's LeBron, Kevin Durant, and Giannis. That's it. Everybody else, star, great player, good player, role player. All right? Anthony Edwards last night, 20 points, 7 for 16 shooting, 4 for 10 from three-point land, and did not get a lot of help from anybody else. Karl Anthony Towns, 15 and 11. Great on the boards. Great on the boards. Pat Beverly, 6 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 for 6 from the field. D'Angelo Russell held to 11 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 for 11, 2 for 7 from 3. Defense will change things. Defensive pressure will bust a steel pipe. You see what it does to some young players on the court. Man, y'all stop what you're doing and bow down to the king. Queen 3 and King podcast song, King Doc. Another banger last night, brother. Another banger last night. Yeah. I had to go back and check out the replay, but yeah, just got to tell you, man, y'all keep flame throwing on Tuesday nights at 7 Central. Again, and give me 3 minutes. I'm going to drop a little clip for you for what's happening on BS3 Network. If you don't know, you better ask somebody or tune into this clip that I'm about to drop for you in about 3 minutes. So again, last night, whole different deal from Minnesota. Minnesota was held to 39% from the field and 29% from the three-point line. Memphis, on the other hand, Jackson had 16, Bane had 16. Ja almost had a triple-double, 23, 9, 10, shot over 50% from the field and exactly 50% from 3, but they got a lot of help off their bench. Clark 13, Tillman 13, Williams 13, and then they got 10 from Jones. Again, man, Memphis is a deep team. Memphis has learned how to play without their star, and last night they had their star there, and they got the job done. They made a defensive decision last night. All right, here we go. Let me see what Doc say. LOL, stop watching. Stop what you're doing. You can tell I went to Andre Jones School of Broadcasting. You tuning in, you turning me into a professional in this camp. Bro, listen. You're a real deal, bro. You are a real deal. And I mean that. You and the Queens, bro. Y'all are somebody. And I mean that for real, man. I can't wait. And I mean it sincerely. A lot of us have no idea who's watching and who's paying attention to our shows. And, a lot of folks think that it's got to be done on one of these major networks. Got to be ABC or NBC or CBS or Fox or ESPN or TNT or whatever. Bro, let me tell you, there's a whole revolution going on with major streaming networks finding great content like Queen 3 and King and blowing it up. And then you look up and you're like, man, where they come from? And they came from BS3 TV. They came from BS3 TV. They came from right here. They were right here amongst us. And then you look up and bam, there they are. They just had a big summit conference just recently with Byron Allen talking about major advertisers and businesses needing to spend more of their money with Black-owned networks, streaming networks, not just traditional TV and radio networks, but streaming networks. So don't turn your nose down on a BS3 TV. Don't turn your nose down on a Queen 3 and King podcast. You're going to look up, they're going to be doing their thing, and you're going to wonder how that happened. And it was right here in front of your face. Speaking of, let me do this right now. Let me show you how it goes down at BS3 TV. telling you, that's how they do it. That's how we do it. That's how we do it right there. And I am excited about being in this family because this is a movement, man. This is a movement. This is something I'm telling you, you're going to look up and you'll be like, dang, BS3 done blown up. They already there. They already blown up. The air ain't coming out. The air is going in. So check it out. If you got a Roku streaming device, download BS3 TV. Download BS3 TV and check out all that great programming. A lot of it is there on demand, so you can get caught up on a whole lot. And I'm telling you, you're going to be glad you did. If you like Kentucky basketball, they got that. If you like marriage information, they got that. If you like reviews on movies, and I love movies. I'm one of them dudes, man. If I get too far into a B-rated or C-rated movie, I can't let it go. I got to figure out how that bad movie ended. So I can talk some movie reviews for you, man. So, hey, Doc, if you need me, Doc, let me know. If you need me to pinch hit on the movie review show, I'm there. I'm all the way there. So anyway, let me get back to these closing minutes. Last night, Miami was too much for Atlanta. Atlanta was missing Clint Capella. And again, Clint Capella has found a home down there in Atlanta. I got to give a lot of credit to the Atlanta staff and coach Nate McMillan on how they're using Clint Capella, because Clint Capella doesn't look out of place. Clint Capella doesn't look like he's in the way. Clint Capella is a part of that team. He's a part of that fabric, and he was missed last night because Jimmy Buckets had all kinds of freedom and liberty in that lane and just all over. Wherever Jimmy wanted to be, that's where he was. Finished with 45 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. Dude was 15 for 25 from the field and 4 for 7 from 3. Shot over 50% from 3. Then he got 14 from Strauss and 9 from Lowry off the bench. Of course, Tyler Hero added 15, and he wasn't even deadly from 3 like he normally is. And Vincent added 11 in the win. On the Atlanta side, Trey got cooled off a little bit. He shot 50% from the field, but he was only 2 for 10 from 3. 20% from 3 is not a good percentage. In fact, the threes are a little interesting because if you make over 35, 40% of them, then it's a benefit. You start making under that, especially in the 20% range, that's hurting your team more than it's helping your team. And for them to only lose by 10, imagine if he had knocked down, half of those 2s instead of missed 2 out of 10, only make 2 out of 10 from 3. They got 13 and 10 from Collins. He was basically the big man. Gallinari had a tough night, 0 for from the field, 0 for 6 from the field, 0 for 4 from 3. He made all of his points at the line. They did get 29 out of Bogdanovich, but again, not having a true big in the middle kind of cost them last night because Buckets had no fear. Jimmy Butler had no fear. So that was the rundown last night. Miami Heat beat Atlanta 115-105. Memphis dog walked Minnesota 124-96. And New Orleans was able to get even in this series with Phoenix at 1 each, thanks to a 125-114 victory. Tonight, Celtics and Boston kick it off at 6 o'clock Central, live on TNT. Shortly after that, it will be Philly at Toronto at 7 o'clock. That will be on the NBA TV network. And then Milwaukee is going to host Chicago at 8:30 live on TNT. Now, that Philly game is going to be interesting. Now, I want you to pay attention to that one because this is where Maxey is not going to be able to play. Maxey, the young star for Philadelphia, is not going to be able to play because he's unvaccinated, or excuse me, not fully vaccinated. He did take 1 shot of a 2-dose regimen and didn't take the second shot. So he will not be able to play these next couple of games in Toronto. So we'll see. Can James Harden step up and pick up the point production that Maxey was getting? And then who's going to step up on the defensive end? Because Maxey is a very good combo or two-way player. And it'll be interesting to see how that works out tonight. I kind of feel like Toronto's going to get their first win in this series. They're down 2-0. And then, of course, that Milwaukee-Chicago game, we got to see what's up with Chicago. They were top in the East all regular season. Now they got to prove it. They dropped all the way down to the number 6 spot and number 7 spot. and now they got to deal with Chicago, Milwaukee. So we'll see if they can get a win at home tonight, 8:30 on TNT. All right. Man, King Dog, don't play with my emotions, bro. Don't play with my emotions. King Dog said we need you on the forecast ASAP. Man, I will be there, Doc. When is the show? If the show is Friday, I'll be there on Tuesday. You hear me? I'll be there on Tuesday. All right, let me see. Y'all, another young legend has jumped on talking about Mike Patton touring the AFC South. He said, hearing that Deebo Samuel has requested a trade from San Francisco, but I ain't mad at him. Do what you got to do. Get that paper, Deebo. Yeah, I heard that he broke off all negotiations with the 49ers. I heard that the negotiations have been stopped. Of course, he had long since scrubbed his social media from anything San Francisco related. He talked about, the fan base coming at him. He's gotten death threats over his contract negotiations. And it's similar to what I said about Kyrie at the top of the show. I don't want to hear about how Bill Russell handled it. I don't want to hear about how Jackie Robinson handled it. I don't want to hear about Martin Luther King Jr. right now. That's this man's life. That's this man's situation. And when people start kicking out death threats over contract negotiations and the team ain't coming correct, yeah, I'd stop talking too. I'd stop talking too. I'd find a place that I feel like would be a good spot for my family. I feel like I find a place that I feel like, would respect my talent, my gifts, what I bring to the team, and explore those options. Again, think about this. You come out of college. I'm talking to us now. I'm talking about us common people. I mean, we kings and queens now, but I'm talking about us. You come out of college and you want to work at one of the major gas companies, Shell, Exxon, Mobil, and you don't get a chance to pick which one you work at. You get drafted. You all set to go to work for Shell, and you get drafted by Exxon. And you got to work at Exxon for at least 4 years, maybe 5 if they pick up their final option on you. You can't stand Exxon, and you don't want Exxon on nothing, let alone your paycheck. And for 4 to 5 years, that's all you can do. And then in your final year, you start thinking like, well, it ain't been too bad. Let me see if they'll give me a raise. I've been here for 4 or 5 years. Let me see if they'll give me a raise. I've outperformed my contract. Let me see if they'll give me a raise. And they start talking crazy to you. And then the people that love Exxon Gas start giving you death threats because you don't want to re-sign with a company that you maybe didn't want to work with in the first place. You didn't get to pick them. They picked you. I want to put some logic and some reality back in to how people look at these athletes, man. I'm saying, well, they knew what they were getting into before they signed up. Please, so what? It doesn't mean that you allow them to treat you any kind of way, and it certainly doesn't mean that you allow the fan base to treat you any kind of way. Mike Patton touring the AFC South. That's another phenomenal podcast. Y'all got to check him out as well. He says he's reportedly not comfortable with his usage, not the money. That's the issue about him signing, not the so-called fans that are unhappy with him wanting new money. Yeah, they're about to run him in the ground, bro. They're about to run him in the ground. They are truly overusing him. But to be honest, they want to give him the money, and every fan base has some fools like that. Yeah, I said it earlier. It's just like these Celtic fans who's all in their feelings because Kyrie told them you're number one with a different finger. If they're good fans out there, then they need to be the ones calling out the bad fans. If somebody knows that a fan or friend or associate or colleague, issued a death threat to somebody like Deebo Samuel, you need to be the first person reporting them to the authorities and to that organization. You do. You most definitely do. So I'm man, again, as I said earlier, some of these fans can miss me with their way of thinking when it comes to what they deserve and whatever. Let's see. King Doc said, I just told Ben, let's pick a good movie to review for Monday, 5/2/2022, and have you on as our guest. Tell me what movie, bro. Just tell me the movie and send me a link. I'm there. Do you hear me? Already, bro. Man, I'm serious. My chest just got bigger. It's like I've been pumping weight, bro. Say less. Say less. All right. The other thing I want to talk about before I go. I took Stephen A. Smith out of the conversation about Kyrie Irving because I misspoke. Stephen A. Smith supports, or it doesn't have a problem with what Kyrie did in response to the way he was being treated by the fans in Boston. But on the other hand, Stephen A. Smith, I gotta deal with him on what he had to say about Colin Kaepernick. And I'm not gonna play it because I got in trouble with Turner Sports yesterday because I played a clip of the Boston Celtics, Brooklyn Nets final minute of the game. I gave credit to NBA TV. I gave credit to the crew that called the game. I apologize. I didn't give credit to Turner Sports. I'm sorry. So yesterday's show got blocked or banned or taken down on Facebook. It's still up on YouTube and Twitch, and Roku. So there you have it. If you don't see me one Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday on The Book or Meta or whatever it's called now, you know why. Because I get tired of that. I get tired of that. But anyway, I digress. Stephen A. Smith and Molly decided that they had commentary about Colin Kaepernick doing his first interview in years and saying that he really wants to play in the league again and he's okay being a backup. And even answered the objections that most people have. Well, nobody wants that circus. And he had a very good response about it being a circus and all the baggage that would come around him and what have you. And Stephen A. Smith went on this long diatribe about how we, quote unquote, would have fought for him, but he blew his chance back when the NFL was going to give him a workout and he ended up, moving the workout and not signing the agreement and what have you. And then, of course, he added his own conjecture in, and Molly more or less agreed with him in her own words. I don't agree with him. First of all, who is we? You are the lead broadcast journalist at ESPN right now, according to money and ratings. You are the lead. It's no longer Chris Berman. It's no longer Dan Patrick. It's no longer Keith Olbermann. It's no longer, it definitely ain't some of the other folks that people, get all excited about. You are that lead guy. But that doesn't make him the spokesman for us. There's no we because of Stephen A. Smith. And I have to catch myself on this. I have a voice that speaks for me, and I try to echo what impacts our culture. And I'm talking about the Black culture, if you're wondering. But I don't speak for everybody Black. I don't know everybody Black. I'm not one of those people who says, well, everybody I talk to, if you only realize how stupid that sounds, like you probably know less than not even less than 1%, less than a millisecond of percent of the people in the world. So how do you feel like you get to speak for everybody that falls in a certain group. Stephen A. Smith does not get to dictate whether or not we would have fought for Colin Kaepernick. Some of us are still fighting for Colin Kaepernick. Some of them, Stephen A. Smith likes, never really jumped on board. They wanted to dictate how Colin Kaepernick protested during the national anthem about systemic racism, police brutality, and disparities in finances and home ownership and just you name it. I mean, it's been very simple from the beginning. You've had bad actors have come in and tried to make it about the flag and the troops and police officers and anything that they could make stick. But the Stephen A. Smiths and the Marcellus Wileys, and the, I'm not even going to say that idiot that used to be on Fox. All they've done for the longest is talk against this man and what he should do and what he didn't do and what he must do. I mean, people were for the longest, he's got to say something. He's got to speak to the media. No, he doesn't. And he didn't. Oh, he's got to firmly define his plan. The kneeling has played out, Jay-Z. The kneeling has played out. We over the kneeling. What have you done since then? I don't understand this we mentality. Ain't no we. Stephen A. Smith doesn't speak for we. He definitely doesn't speak for me. So for him to say, your time has come and gone, you don't get to say that. And anybody else that has a strong opinion, and just because everybody around you say, old Rob, he always got a strong opinion about that. That doesn't mean they agree with you. Colin Kaepernick has just as much right as anybody to pursue his dreams, his passions, his goals, his ambitions, just as much as anybody. Last I checked. Whether it happens or not is a whole different story. But I will go ahead and say this on this platform that will never be said out of Stephen A. Smith's mouth, out of Marcellus Wiley's mouth, out of other people's mouths, Molly's mouth. Colin Kaepernick was right. Colin Kaepernick was 100% right. Do I agree with how he did everything? No. But he was right. And he's still proving to be right. The NFL made that hostage video. Roger Goodell made that hostage video of, and Black Lives Matter, and we care about our Black athletes, and we're going to reach out to Colin Kaepernick, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. And he even said, anybody that wants to bring Colin Kaepernick in, da-da-da-da-da. Well, guess what? Ain't nobody stopping nobody. They don't want to do it. They won't even bring him in for a workout. And Stephen A. Smith saying, we would have fought for you, but you had your opportunity back in 2019. Oh, man, I caught myself. I almost said something. Good Lord. You don't get to say when somebody's opportunity is over. Stephen A. Smith, for some reason, doesn't realize something that all of us should realize. One day, we're not going to be who we were back then. One day, Stephen A. Smith is not going to be the lead broadcast journalist at the mothership. One day, he won't be on First Take. One day, he won't be the lead journalist for a major media outlet. One day, he'll just be a guy. Who will we be then? Keith Hennig, I agree with you. He's still better than more than 50% of the quarterbacks in the league right now, to me. Starters. Oh, well, yeah, in his workout, he wasn't playing against nobody. Nobody was rushing him. He wasn't going up against a defense or anything. That's called a workout. In workouts, you don't go against them. In workouts, you show that you can still throw a tight spiral You got good footwork. You can read when to let the ball go for the open receiver. How quick is your delivery? Those are the things that you're trying to show in the workout. From the workout, you get invited in to a practice or camp, and there you go up against defenses and schemes and talent. Please. And the ignorant line of, well, he got sat down for Blaine Gabbert. That's just dumb. That's just ignorant. That's just people who don't know how sports work. They don't know how injuries work. They don't know how recovering from an injury works. They don't know how coming back too soon after recovering from an injury. They don't understand those things. So I don't deal with those people, do. Mike Patton says, in the end, an opinion is just that, an opinion. His opinion doesn't speak for everybody, just like mine only speaks for me. I tell people all the time, this is my opinion, not our opinion. Mike Patton says, I did an opening for my show recently and went down the list of quarterbacks that he's better than. Bruh, that list is long. That list of quarterbacks that he's better than is long. Queen 3 and King. Okay, AJ, we're reviewing Respect, starring Jennifer Hudson, Forrest Whitaker, Marlon Wayans, Audra McDaniels, Mark Moran, and Titus Burke, and Mary J. Blige. Bruh, say less. All you had to do was get to that last name, and I was all in. I am a huge Mary J. Blige fan. Mary, I'm looking for real love, Mary. I'm talking about that real love. All right, man, I'm on it. All right, College Player of the Year is returning to Kentucky for his senior year. I'm shocked. Oscar is coming back to Kentucky next year. Well, I'll just say it like this before I got to get ready to go. It is Kentucky. You can take that how you want it. It is Kentucky. All right, look, y'all, I got to get ready to go. Throwback Thursday tomorrow. I may or may not be here. One of my little people asked me to come and have lunch with her at her school, and I might just take her up on that. Why? I'm retired from radio, and I can do those things. So I might see if I can't find somebody to rock this thing for me tomorrow. If not, then, we might just have to throw an old show in there in place of me being there. But hey, when the little people call, I only got one life. I got to find a way to go and spend it with them. So y'all, let me get ready to get out of the way. Again, we're getting ready to give you a little bit of Sybil Wilkes, what you need to know. And then after that, we'll rock out with BS3 Network and the entire network. You can find out who's all on it in just a few minutes. Let me give you a quick sports update. Astros gave up 5 runs in the 5th inning of their 7-2 loss to the Angels last night. Second baseman Jose Altuve missed the game because of a hamstring injury. He's listed as day-to-day. Dusty Baker says, man, he is one of the strongest spiritually, physically, and mentally people that he's ever worked with. So we'll see if Jose is going to be out tonight when they play the Angels at 5:40. Jake Odorizzi will get the start. Again, NBA playoffs last night. Miami Heat beat Atlanta 115-105. Memphis beat Minnesota 124-96. New Orleans tied their series with Phoenix at 1 each after beating them 125-114. Tonight, Celtics hosting Boston, 6 o'clock Central on TNT. Kyrie Irving got fined those 50 racks for just saying, hey, you're number one. Philly and Toronto in Toronto at 7. And then Milwaukee will host Chicago at 8:30 on TNT. Again, all those games are Central. As always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. I truly do love you. There is nothing you can do about it except meet me here tomorrow at noon for Throwback Thursday. Y'all, love you. Take care. Here's Sybil Wilkes, what you need to know.
Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Today is Hump Day. Yep, we're at Wednesday already, April 20th, 2022. Number 1, a federal judge ruled that a group of Georgia voters can proceed with legal efforts seeking to disqualify U.S. Representative Marjorie Greene from running for re-election to Congress. The judge cited Taylor Greene's role in the deadly attack on the U.S. Capitol. The challenge filed last month alleges that the Republican helped facilitate the January 6, 2021 riot that disrupted Congress from certifying Joe Biden's presidential election victory. Number 2, Vice President Kamala Harris announced Monday night that the Biden administration is setting a self-imposed ban on anti-satellite missile testing with the goal of making it an international norm for responsible behavior in space. The U.S., China, India, and Russia have all carried out such tests, which generate dangerous space debris. The U.S. is the first to impose such a ban. The vice president said the U.S. hopes other nations will follow suit. Number 3, a federal judge's decision to strike down a national mask mandate was met with cheers on some airplanes already, but also concern. Major airports dropped their requirements but sided with the CDC in recommending that people be voluntarily masked. Since the pandemic began 2 years ago, many state or local governments have issued various orders requiring masks to be worn inside schools, restaurants, stores, and elsewhere. Number 4, Amtrak is investigating a reprehensible act of hate after a gay couple and their children were reportedly verbally assaulted on a train in California. Robbie Pierce, his husband Neil Broverman, and their children were on an Amtrak train when another passenger began screaming at their kids. Santa Clara Sheriff's deputies responded to the scene and the passenger complied with the demand to leave. Number 5, LaDexter and his friend John DuBose Jr. arrived at Sacramento International Airport on the morning of November 4th. Surveillance footage shows the men getting into a dark blue four-door sedan, potentially a Nissan or a Toyota, at the airport. Neither man has been seen or heard from since. Anyone with information on their disappearance should go to blackandmissinginc.com. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. Let go of the things that do not serve you. So, inhale freedom, exhale stagnation. Join me today live on YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central with the bon vivant Stephen Hill, comedian extraordinaire Myra J., and activist Quinn Townsend Riley as we discuss today's top headlines and more. Thank you to our What You Need to Know partners, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated and the American Heart Association. To subscribe to my free daily newsletter, please visit SibylWilkes.com. Be informed, be empowered.